Good morning, Colts Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the Forged in Blue podcast, presented by Colts Brawl and the Brawl Network. As always, I'm your host, Stephen Burton, joined by my co-host, Rashad. And on today's episode, we are very, very lucky, you guys, to be joined by Laura Steele from WTHR in Indianapolis. Laura, thank you so much for taking some time to just kind of come on, talk a little bit about the Colts, what's going on, and answer some of our kind of off-the-wall questions.
I love off the wall questions. Hi, gentlemen. And at taping, it was National Puppy Day. So this is Pearl, and she's sporting her Colts jersey. She's just ready to go run and chase the other dog in the house. So we're going to let Pearl go. And I am so happy to be on here with you guys. Hi, you guys.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking time to come on.
Absolutely my pleasure.
So kind of my first question, we were talking beforehand, and we talked a little bit about what we wanted to touch on. And I'm super curious, as someone who covers the Colts, what was it like this year with the protocols, with the stringent, with the COVID and everything? What was it like trying to cover them this year?
So what's interesting about what I do for the Colts is very fan based. So I work for the number one tailgate in America for different NFL teams, and it's Bullseye Event Group. So what I do is actually before the game. So I will interview fans. I'll interview some prior Colts players or the alumni that will come to our events. It's a tailgate that's 2 or 3 hours before. So my job, I think a lot of people think that I actually kind of in the nuts and the bolts of covering the team, but really I'm a fan reporter and a fan host pregame, which is a really fun job.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't fun this past year. We couldn't get together. It was so awful because the Colts VIP tailgate, they also do it in New Orleans and a few other cities. They do it for the Saints as well. We didn't do anything, obviously, for obvious reasons. So to answer that question, I'm still on the radio. I work in Indianapolis at a music intensive station. So it was my job to still talk about the Indianapolis Colts and what was happening with them, but not really dig deep into it. So my job is not really being a hardcore Colts reporter, but more of a host for the fans at the tailgates. But I still have to kind of stay on top of things. It was a really tough year for fans of any sport, but especially for us who gather 2 hours, 3 hours before kickoff in the shadows of Lucas Oil Stadium every season. And it would have been my 6th year doing that. And unfortunately, my year 6 was
a dud.
At home in my pajamas watching.
Oh, wow.
Like most of us, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So it was heartbreaking to be really a fan of the fans and work with the fans and work for the fans and not be able to do that. So again, my job is not to really write or broadcast about the Colts, but to be, I think what's really important, someone that's there for the fans on game day. So yeah, I hope we get back to it.
I know that piggybacks into, I know Rashad's got a question about that.
Okay.
And I want to ask you, it's funny you mentioned you're kind of like a bridge, between the fans and the team under normal circumstances, because we know this year was a little different. How would you describe the typical normal game day vibe, outside of this year?
So incredible. Colts fans are really staunch. I think that they are just really passionate. We like to have a good time. It's definitely a, pre the getting, ready for the game is definitely a good vibe at our tailgates. Lucas Oil Stadium is a great atmosphere. National Puppy Day is going very badly right now. I know you guys can hear them. I'm going to have to text my teenage daughter to tell her to take the dogs to her room. We'll see if we can get them to zip it. I apologize for that. Hey, look, it's the world of dogs interrupting. I mean, it's like we've been in this world for a year now where you see dogs going through broadcast. But yeah, I think that before the pandemic, boy, the passion of Colts fans, you guys know this, you're fans. We want to win, like most fans for their teams, but we really have a great time. And it's a very, very cool vibe in downtown Indianapolis and at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, and so you talked, with kind of the weirdness that is this year, and everything's Zoom, everything's video. you're not out at the stadium because of what's going on. We didn't get a feel. I think one of the questions I had was in regards to Phillip Rivers is getting to know, and not just him, but getting to know, and like you said, you're having on alumni or current players who come on who do these VIP events. Do you have any read about kind of, it's the question that everyone has is obviously is with Carson Wentz. Like what would be, have you had any interactions with him since he's been announced?
No, I haven't. And I really got schooled on him by Giovanni, his biggest fan, the Philadelphia Eagles fan. And what a great kid. You guys love him. And I've seen one of your divisions, actually, that's how I learned about him. Am I right on that?
Yeah, it was our kind of our main one, which is Colts Brawl on the Brawl Network. It was Destin, Michael, and at the time, Zach. Destin actually did the interview. He reached out to Giovanni kind of right afterwards because he's been, he's all over the news. He's actually, which is kind of crazy, and you probably know now, he's got a huge podcast. He's got a massive following. He actually runs the Eagles Brawl on the Brawl Network, one of their channels. And so he is massive, and he is a huge Carson Wentz fan. And
saw that.
Colts
That's
Nation,
how I heard about Carson.
Man, we love him.
And I love Carson because of Giovanni. I'm like, oh my gosh, he obviously touched this young boy who we just all love and think is so great, and really kind of brought, me to kind of say, okay, if this kid thinks Carson Wentz is an awesome guy, I'm going to go with that because Giovanni is an awesome kid. And I did find out about Giovanni through the Brawl. And then I started researching a little bit more the connection and how Giovanni met Carson and why he is so much of a fan of his. So then, of course, I did research. I know the history between our coach, Frank, and the history between him being Carson's, coach with the Eagles. And so I think that is going to be a fabulous reunion. I love that there is that connection there between Frank and between Carson. So that'll be interesting to see that reunion come to life next season for our Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, definitely.
So with your job being so difficult to do this year, have they given y'all any word about how it's going to be in the upcoming season yet? Have you heard anything?
Now, I think that what we're seeing happen, you guys, is that this situation with the pandemic is so fluid. I've been vaccinated, by the way. I don't know if you guys have yet or if you're in line to get it.
I'm in line because of my actual job that I get paid for falls into a category where I am actually able to get in line. And I think it's the next 2 weeks I'll get my first shot.
Good. Okay. Well, I've gotten mine. So, and Indiana's done a really, really great job going by age. And some profession with teachers and those on the front lines and healthcare workers obviously have been taken care of already. But I'm ready to rock, and I'm hearing that the Colts season is going to be ready to go. That's the vibe and what I'm catching from people. A lot of things. I'm also in, I think, I mentioned earlier that I'm on the radio and it's a music intensive show. And so we're not hearing a lot about the concert season. Like it's really hush hush. Also, you have to factor in, I'm in Indianapolis. So the Indy 500 is coming up in May.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not getting we're recording here. We don't have an actual, tickets have been on sale. I think they said they've sold 170,000. I don't know if it's going to stop at that. So we haven't heard anything officially yet, but just the way things are going, I'm thinking by the time we get to August, preseason August, am I correct? August?
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't say, I don't want to have it written in stone, but I think if things go well and the vaccinations continue, we're going to see getting back to normal and getting back to, seeing fans in the stands. How many, I don't know. And are you going to have to show a vaccination proof? I don't know. I don't know if that will be part of it. Look, we've got March Madness going on in the city of Indianapolis right now. One of the teams sadly got eliminated because, the team, Virginia with Commonwealth got eliminated. I went downtown to a few places a couple of days ago, and people were very respectful in the area that I was in, but there was another area in Indy where they were kind of partying a little bit too hard and no social distancing. So I just want to say that, I want to get back to it, but we got to still hang in there till we get this under control so that we can be back in Lucas Oil Stadium. But to answer your question, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. I don't think they know. I don't think the Indy 500 can say right now. I don't think that the concert and Live Nation and the people that put on at the sheds and the venues where you guys are know. We're still waiting. We're in this this waiting. We're hovering.
Yeah.
But it looks good, doesn't it? It looks like it's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree too, because they released, I think this week, the stuff about the NFL draft, that the NFL they're pushing for in person. Now I know it's in Cleveland, but they're pushing so hard for in person to be able to do it. I mean, I'm hopeful. I mean, I passed up like we were talking beforehand, and the listeners all know I live in Nashville, and I go every year. I'm blessed enough to have always gone to the Colts Titans game, and I did not go this year. Partially, our company decided not to do the tickets, but also my wife wasn't comfortable with me going because the time frame of the game was smaller venue and things like that. So, I mean, I'm super hopeful. It sounds really hopeful with what their plans are. I just want to get back to normal. I know you do. I know you want to get back to normal and be able to do the things that you do on a daily basis with the team.
Well, what I'd like to do is once we do get back to normal, and if you make your way to Indy, you could come to that Colts VIP tailgate once. I'd love to have you guys. I would have you as our guest.
I would love that. We
pay to go.
There is talk that the Colts Brawl team is going to end up at an Indianapolis Colts game this year. Not saying it's official, but there is a lot of talk that we're going to find our way up there. So we will probably have to take you up on that. So I know it's a Colts podcast. Rashad knows I'm going to ask this. You brought up March Madness. I just, if you don't like it, if you don't like the Hoosiers, turn it off. What's going on with the Hoosiers? I know I'm assuming you're a Hoosier fan. I might be assuming wrong.
Okay.
What do you know anything? Because it's killing me.
Well, I know that $10 million to say farewell to someone is lofty, right?
And one person did it. I saw that report. It was one. I think I know who it was. I think I've done a little digging. I think I know who it was.
Tell us who it was.
Spill the beans, Steele.
Personally speaking, I think it was Mark Cuban. I think it was Mark Cuban. Is what I think. That's what I've heard. That's what the reports have kind of said a little bit that I've read, is that it's possibly, because it's got to be somebody to pony up $10 million to cut the check and tell him he can go ahead and go find another job.
Wow, that's actually a pretty good guess on Mark Cuban. Yeah, I love Mark Cuban. I've had the opportunity to interview him a couple of times, and he's a cool cat. I really, really like him a lot. I did not go to a college with athletics. I went to Columbia College in Chicago. My mom and dad both are Hoosiers and went to IU. Who do I think should get into that spot? That's a question. I don't know why it always comes in my mind that Steve Alford. I don't know why he's like the first one that comes to mind.
All-time Hoosier. That's why. It's right there, and he's a good coach. There.
You know who I don't want now? If he changes his mind, he can't change his mind after he said he's a Patriots fan.
Oh,
Brad Stevens.
Oh. No, I'm saying no, Ixnay, because he said Ixnay and he goes, oh, I go to Dunkin' Donuts. And why do you have to throw donuts in there when he said he's not going to come to IU?
He did say that.
He's not leaving he's not leaving the NBA to come. I mean, I guess it could happen, but he's not going to leave the NBA to come to the Hoosiers. And then he had to throw in there to stick a jab in there to say that he's now a fan of the Patriots.
Boo.
I can be with that. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I had to ask. Rashad, you take it back to the Colts, man.
Okay, let me get it back on track. Let me get it back over here. Okay, we know you've interacted with a lot of people, a lot of Colts players, a lot of fans. Who would you say is the most interesting person you've ever spoken to? I got to put you on the spot real fast.
Oh, no. I just absolutely thought was one of the most delightful people, and I'd met him a few occasions at charity events, is Reggie Wayne.
New Orleans guy.
Reggie Wayne is just, he just was one of my absolute favorites. I can give you an answer to who wasn't one of my favorites, but not, I don't want to badmouth him or anything. And maybe he was going through the process of saying, I'm out of here. But a couple of times I had an opportunity. Andrew Luck was not, real warm and yeah, but a great guy. But just, I think that I caught him at an Indy 500 event because I do a lot of coverage for the Indy 500 as well. That's part of my job as well. And I think that decision was being made that he wasn't really going to be talking to the media because I think he was on his way out. I would say Reggie Wayne is a favorite. I love Peyton. Peyton has always been fantastic. Adam Vinatieri, I'm going back to my Super Bowl team when I throw those names out for the ones that I like.
Hey, that's okay.
That's one of my favorite memories is going to Miami and seeing the Colts beat the Bears in a deluge. I was there.
I'm jealous.
I wish.
I've seen a lot of wins inside Nissan Stadium, and I get to gloat about it quite a bit because they consistently win there. But no, I would have liked to have been at that game. That would have been fun. I remember exactly where I was, but I wasn't in Miami.
I know where I was, and I was watching the game water like everywhere. There was not 1 minute of no rain, you guys. It rained nonstop. Prince at the halftime, fabulous. As you recall, the beginning of the game, not good. I thought, oh, this is bad. The Bears right out of the gate looked amazing. But then we made it happen, and it was absolutely a fabulous experience. But I got back to the hotel room and took off my blue Colts straw hat, had a gemmed horseshoe straw hat on, like a cowboy hat with the Colts horseshoe. I took it off and my hair was probably blue from about my ears up. It stayed blue for a week, which was perfect because we won the Super Bowl. And I celebrated with half blue, half blonde hair.
Goodness.
We need pictures of that. We need to see that.
I know. That'd be a good one.
I'll get you hooked up.
All right.
All right. So I've got one last question because I know, and for the listeners who don't know, she took time out of her extremely busy schedule. She's actually jumping back on the radio after she's done with us. Kind of similar question that Rashad asked. I know he said, who's your favorite player? The blue hair is great. What's just a fun story? I was lucky enough when I first started the pod, I had Matt Taylor come on. And I asked him kind of the same question. And he talked about, sitting up top and just kind of pinching himself daily, that he does this for a living. What's just a cool story that most people wouldn't really know that you've gotten to just experience? And I want to say too, as much as this is a Colts podcast, between the Pacers and the Hoosiers and the Indy 500, just what's the coolest experience you've ever gotten to cover?
I'll go back to the Colts, and I will tell you the blue hair, the Super Bowl win was pretty fabulous in Miami. But I'm going to take you back to 1984, 1985. I was in college in Chicago. 85 Bears won the Super Bowl. So I was really kind of leaning toward, being a Bears fan because I'd been in Chicago in college and I was on Rush Street, Division Street, which is the party street. And when the Bears won, I ended up on a bottom of a pile of people when all the people came out of the bars celebrating that the Bears won the Super Bowl. Okay. The 85 Bears. I'm right on that, right? Yeah. 85 Bears.
That's right. Yeah.
And the direction went a different way for me when the Colts came to Indianapolis. And I know we talked about this before about my dad being a Pacer ticket holder, Indiana Pacer ticket holder from the ABA days. My dad was one of the first to ever have season tickets for the ABA Indiana Pacers, born and raised in Indianapolis here, my dad as well. But my dad also got season tickets for the Colts at the RCA Dome. And so I have vivid memories about being in those seats and watching the Colts the first year. Let me say, there was a little bit of guilt about the Mayflower and leaving Baltimore. It seemed a little wrong to me, and I felt guilty, but at the same time, I'm like, we got a team. Yeah. So I feel kind of bad because I'm just that person that's like, yeah, you don't do people like that. But on the other hand, I was very happy to have a team. I never looked back to the Bears, and I really embraced the Indianapolis Colts. Something to note really quickly, and I almost forgot about this. At the RCA Dome, I was the talent on the field for about 3 years, where I was like the MC that would say, see if you can throw the football into the hole, to get $50. If you get it in the next one, you get 100. Get it in the third one, you get 150. So I did that for about 3 seasons. They actually sent me to Nashville to see, because you guys have a real party atmosphere for the for the Tennessee Titans. So they sent me there. But are you ready for this? Bill Polian didn't really like all the hoopla on the field for the Colts and wanted to like reel it back in. So I did it for 3 years and they kind of did away with it. I'm not saying I got fired by Bill Polian, but I think I did.
You were what's the word? It was what is it? Not expendable. Oh man.
Well, he wasn't interested, I think, in that. And I understand that. It was fine. It was fun while it lasted.
Wow.
It made me very nervous. I felt like a fish in a fishbowl that people were just like, it was, the NFL is a very, they're serious, man. Their fans are serious. They don't want like cartwheels and backflip. Not that I was doing cartwheels or backflips, but like, am I right about the Titans though? The Titans have a real, like, don't you have personalities in every corner of the stadium?
Yeah, it's pretty intense. The Titans have come much further with it over the last several years. And that is due hugely to the fact that they lost, when they were going through that stretch of being really poor, they lost a lot of fans. And at the same time, you had the Nashville Predators come on the scene and go to the Stanley Cup. And a lot of fans went, because when I will say the Titans games are fun. If you ever come to Nashville, go to a Preds game. It is a gigantic party. The entire time. It is so, several years ago, it was you'd look up and, Dirks Bentley's there, or, regularly was Carrie Underwood because her husband played. She still comes to games because they still live here. I mean, it is. So the Titans have played catch up. They've tried to play catch up with the Preds on that, which it's evened out now because the Titans obviously are much better than the Preds are right now. But yes, it is a party atmosphere. It very much is.
Well, and I think we kind of have that now at Lucas Oil Stadium, like you were asking Rashad about the vibe. It's awesome. It was a great gig for 3 years. I was doing a lot of other things as well, covering the Indy 500 and, on the radio and doing, back then I wasn't doing TV. TV has kind of come later in my career, which has been great. I work for the NBC affiliate doing just segments on businesses, but then I'll be covering the Indy 500 again. And then rock and roll radio. They're like classic hits and rock and roll radio. I'm on in the Cincinnati market, so I got to follow the disastrous Cincinnati Bengals. They've got a whole new look this year. So I've covered really two teams. So I cover the Bengals as well, but my love is right here, the Indianapolis Colts.
Right.
That's
absolutely.
My love here.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for especially because for the listeners who don't know, we had a little bit of miscommunication. We wanted to really make sure we got her on and had plenty of time, and she took time out from the radio to jump on here with us. So thank you so much. I want to give you a chance to kind of plug where they can find you, where they can listen, anything like that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm on Twitter at Real Laura Steele, because there's a fake one. And then I'm on Instagram at
that one got me. I'm sorry.
I know I'm on Instagram at Laura Steele Media, and I've got a Facebook page as well. If you do like rock and roll, you said I took a break from radio. I'm playing a really long Led Zeppelin song right now. I'm on 104.5 WJJK in the fine city of Indianapolis. I'm on Channel 13 in Indianapolis on a show called 13 Inside Track. And then I'm on in Cincinnati, Ohio daily on a classic rock station. And that's the Fox, 92.5 The Fox. So I really am grateful to have time with you guys. It's really nice to see and talk to people, even if it's this way. I don't care. I'm jonesing for it. I'm a big people person. That's why I do what I do for the Colts VIP tailgate. And listen, I will stand by my invite for you guys. You tell me which game you're coming in. If our VIP tailgates are going on at the Bullseye Event Center, it's right next to Lucas Oil Stadium. Both of you guys are my guests, okay?
Absolutely. We are in. Thank you so much. And I will, we'll see you soon. We'll see you in Indianapolis this fall.
Crossing my fingers. I'm crossing my fingers. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you so much, Laura.
My pleasure. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Guys, can I get a photo real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Get a photo of us real quick.
Yeah.
I do this all the time for work, and I'm looking down at my phone. So I'm going to try to get it. And then I'll tweet this out on mine too. Okay. So I'll have you guys. I don't know if I'm following Rashad. I know I'm following you.
You followed me today. Just today.
I did today?
Yes.
Okay. There we go. Let me set this here. All right. Give me a wave, guys. What an absolute pleasure. You guys are awesome. I hope I got the answers out correctly. And
You did.
You did awesome. You did
Thank
awesome.
you so much. Thank you.
My
And we'll
pleasure.
talk to you soon, okay?
Keep me posted on how you want me to promote it too, and when it's going to be live or hot. And just keep me posted on that and feel free to tag me. I can be tagged, and I'll send you these screenshots, Stephen. Okay, I'll text them to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, guys.
Bye.
Love to you both. Bye-bye.
She's
Okay.
awesome.
So for those of you who are listening, yes, we did have a little convo mid conversation. For those of you who are going to follow us on YouTube, you get to see all that. So go over to YouTube, you guys, and you see, like, I've got, y'all know, if you follow me on Twitter at Forged in, well, we have two different ones. So mine is now at Stephen Burton 86, which you guys know, but we do have a official Twitter page for Forged in Blue. It is at Forged in Blue. Y'all have heard me talk about my JT shirt. I am rocking that. Rashad is definitely, if I see correctly, I'm looking, I believe that is his brand new. Yep, that is his brand new Darius Leonard jersey. So get on YouTube, follow us, watch it there. Surprisingly enough, we've actually had quite a few views on the last one. We've got some cool new backgrounds for both of you guys. It's got there it is. There it is. Rashad's got the same on his. So Rashad, kind of piggybacking, obviously, you know, we've had a great interview with Laura. It was so much fun. I think, you know, I would love to talk about free agency a little, but there's just, you know, we know two things. We know Xavier Rhodes is back, which Rhodes closed. We're super pumped about. But we also know that TY is not yet. Hashtag bring TY home. Y'all know who started it. There's no argument. We're not getting into all this Twitter beef about who did what. We know all that matters is bring TY home. Hopefully we hear something soon. But I'm curious to kind of hear you, man, on, dude, it's so quiet with everything. I know inside our private chats and when me and you talk, you feel like something's happening behind the scenes, but man, I don't know.
This is by far, well, I just want to touch on something you mentioned real quick, and I'm gonna get my thoughts on it. We can the Xavier Rhodes, $6.5 million. I'm excited, man. Like, I thought for sure after I saw Patrick Peterson get around $9 to $10 million, I just thought no way possible we can get Xavier Rhodes back for anything under that. 6.5 valid. You did it again.
Can we just say Colts Brawl coverage called that? I believe they said, for y'all who's watching, I believe they said what the offer was. The standing offer was he was going to come back for less than 9.
Yeah.
So shout out to our Colts Brawl coverage guys. They nailed that. I don't care what you say. They nailed this one.
Exactly. So we excited about that, man. Xavier Rhodes, you push kind of that need. You know, we both had corner kind of high on our needs list. And getting Xavier Rhodes back, you know, kind of pushes that need down. Another thing you touched on, T.Y. Hilton, man. T.Y. Hilton. I think with Galladay coming off of the board, T.Y. Hilton is now the number 1 receiver in free agency. And when Juju decided to go back to Pittsburgh, I think that did two things. I think that made Kansas City, who was reported to have an offer for Juju, higher than what Pittsburgh offer was, and Baltimore had an offer for Juju higher than.
I want to ask you something about Juju because it's been bugging me since I've seen it, since I saw the tweet and I saw him say, do you honestly believe he turned down more money to go back to Pittsburgh on a 1-year deal?
Do I honestly believe it? The only reason I believe it is because if it wasn't true, I don't think he would have said it verbally out of his mouth. I heard him verbally say it, you know, out of his mouth. And I don't think he would have did it. And Juju's the type of guy who wants you to know he turned down more money.
That I 100% believe. He wants you to know. Because here's the thing, too. My thought with him, and I know this isn't a Steelers one, but Juju was a free agent and he was brought up, is his market was not there because of the TikTok and everything that happened and the regression. He's not a number 1. And he's got to clean it up. So he looks team friendly. He took a small deal to go back to Pittsburgh where he's comfortable. And if he balls out this year, cap goes up next year, he'll get paid, he'll go somewhere else. But he's got to be clean. No more TikToks on the logos at the beginning of the game. Like, he's got to get that out. That's got to go away.
And let's be straight here. When he said he turned down more money, the offer was Kansas City offered him $9 million with $3 million worth of incentives, and Baltimore offered him $8 million with $3 million more in incentives, possibly. So he went back to Pittsburgh for $8 million. It's not like he left crazy money on the table. His market wasn't what he thought it was going to be. You know, if you're sitting here making it seem like he stuck 14 and 13 million, it wasn't that. But
well, here's a question for you. With that, because I know where you're headed now. We're headed the TY train. We're going ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Is Colts Brawl coverage, Forged in Blue have been doing. We've been ghost hunting, ghost bustering, whatever it is. You call it what you want. Check out the pictures. It's all fun. Does the super cold market on the wide receivers? I mean, because we know it's Galladay got paid. We knew he was going to get paid.
Right.
Allen Robinson, if he had hit the market, he was going to get paid. He is getting paid with the franchise tag. But you start looking around, and it's a lot of small deals. You know, as of the recording of this, we had a private discussion in the Colts Brawl chat that Sammy Watkins is coming tomorrow on Wednesday for a visit. And I like how you pointed out. I think everyone was freaking out saying it's one or the other. I don't know why it can't be both.
Right.
But my whole thing with this is, do you think TY's market went up because of Galladay, or you think it's kind of stayed where it needs to be for us to get him back? Like, what do you think? Do you think he's going to fall where Ballard wants him to fall so he can put on that Colt blue again next year?
I think TY market took a slight bump up. I think when Juju came off of the board, I think that was TY's plan the whole time, was to be patient in the process, because he know if he kind of wait a couple of those top guys out, then, now he's the top dog. And he knows there's people that's still targeting receivers like the Kansas City Chiefs, who don't want to spend an early draft pick because they have needs they have to. Same thing with Baltimore. They have a couple needs that they have to address, which is why they don't want to spend an early draft pick on it. They need a guy that's going to come in and produce right away. Both of those teams, those are two of the top, you want to say what, top 4, top 5 teams in the AFC. Yeah. And they need production. Kansas City's lacking the number 2 receiver, and Baltimore, heck, they need a number 1 receiver, because I don't think Hollywood Brown is that. But like I say,
they feel similar too, though. Don't they feel similar to you? Hollywood and Sammy a little bit, just a little older on Sammy's part.
Yeah, yep, you're right. And man, what the craziest thing about Sammy Watkins is that he's only 28 years old.
Yeah, dude, he feels so much older. I think we were talking about in the chat. He feels so much older. You know who I think of when I think of him? We joke about this at my office all the time. Keenan Allen feels like he's 38, but he's like 28. Yeah, and that's what Sammy Watkins feels like. He's been around forever. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was a young draft entry. Like Juju's super young, because he literally, I think, was 20 when he got drafted. Yeah, but man, yeah, you're right. He's still got what, 3-4 probably productive years left as a, maybe not number 1, but a solid piece. Yeah. I mean, I'm not hating it. I know Michael liked it. Michael talked about it on Colts Brawl. I know he likes the idea of him. I think a lot of people, like we were saying, they like the idea of one or the other. I don't know why you can't have both, but at the same time, there's only so many balls.
Exactly. But I think the idea of Michael Pittman lining up as your X receiver and Sammy Watkins on the other side, and if you put T.Y. Hilton in the slot, Paris Campbell in the other slot, one thing having those 4 guys could do is it could keep you from having to run 2 tight end sets. If you don't have the tight end that you want, the receiving tight end, the big playmaking tight end, then you can run 1 tight end with 4 receivers. You can run more 4 receiver sets, because if you have Pittman, Watkins, T.Y., and Paris Campbell, Jesus, that's a great 4 guys to have. It'll really open your offense up for Carson, Yeah, I mean, more
weapons. What's wrong with just having more weapons? I mean, and you did Pittman pass. You did what? Pittman, Campbell, Hilton, Watkins. You left out Pascal. We've got my favorite, and I've been laughing all week for some reason. And so y'all know, like, I completely re-listened to the episode after we post it. I've been tripping out myself all week about the fact that I said Mo Alley Cox has clown hands because I couldn't think of anything. But he's another one, man. Like I for y'all know, like we talk what we're going to talk about, but what is said when we get going is just what is said. And if you listen to that episode, if you want to go back and listen to it, which rate, review, subscribe, share. I plug it all the time throughout the episode. You can go subscribe on YouTube. You can see the cool videos. You're gonna be able to see Laura and all the different things like that. So go on, hit the subscribe button, go back and listen to that, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Like I literally flustered myself talking about how big his hands are. But seriously, go look at a picture. The dude's got massive hands. The gloves only make them, they look like polar bear hands. That's what I'm going to be talking, polar bear hands. That's what I'm going to say. But yeah, I mean, I'm really interested. There's not a ton to talk about when it comes to free agency. I mean, there's a couple of signings. I don't have enough. Rashad, you may have more info. If you don't, then I'm just going to point you guys. If you guys are listening to this, I'm going to point you guys in the direction of Colts Brawl and Bring the Juice. Bring the Juice does their daily breakdowns. Fantastic work when it comes to these couple of free agents that we've signed. Also, you go over to Zach Hicks. He hates the new O-line signing. He's not a fan. So go check him out too if you want looking for that breakdown, because we know why you guys are here, which is the social media questions. But before we get to that, Rashad, I got to give the plug. We always got to talk about maintaining your ball hair, you guys. You got to maintain the flow of this one was not as good, but it is there. You have to maintain up your balls, and you can do that through manscaped.com. Code BRAWL, BRAWL. Go on there right now. You do that, you get 20% off, free shipping. You get the lawnmower it's got a little headlight on it, so you don't deflate your balls, as Rashad likes to say. You got the disposable mats. You got everything you need to make sure you are slick and clean. I'm not saying Ken doll clean, but clean. So go over to manscaped.com, hit on the code BRAWL. That's BRAWL, BRAWL. Okay. So really quickly too, I want to point this out before we jump into this. So I want to make sure that she gets no hate from our lovely forgers. Laura is wanting to she's been texting me since she jumped off. She wants to clarify. She loves Andrew Luck, you guys. Okay. I just want to make sure that is clarified. She's texted me not long after, and she's like, oh, she didn't say it, but oh, damn. Everyone loves Andrew Luck. I want to clarify. Laura has been talking to me since she jumped off. She loves Andrew Luck. Y'all do not beat her up for it. We all love Andrew Luck. We can all be honest and say we didn't like the way that it ended, right? But just don't chill. Don't be Philly fans going after, our boy Giovanni or anybody else. Don't be those guys. Okay. Show them what Colts fans are actually supposed to be about. That's all I got. So
I will hurt you if you decide to mess with Laura. I will hurt you.
Yeah. You talk about that, Can we also do a quick shout out to just Colts Nation for what has gone and transpired in support of Gio? Gio rocking he broke the news, man. I don't think he meant to, but he probably did because he is super savvy for a 13-year-old. He broke the news of Wentz's number. For those of you, if you don't know, you have been, as Pat McAfee said to Carson Wentz, you have been living under a rock. He rocked the Carson Wentz jersey, and heat's the wrong word. He got bullied, which is a horrendous thing. He's starting an anti-bully campaign. Make sure you go follow him. That's something that everyone needs to be involved with. But he caught just hate, and now he's off of Twitter. So this is an example of we can't have nice things, you guys. Gio is an amazing kid. And the fact that grown adults, I'm getting on a soapbox, Rashad, I'll let you go there too. The fact that grown men felt the need to diss this 13-year-old kid for wearing his Heroes jersey is just, it's in my mind, it's disgusting. It's horrendous. I know Colts Brawl and Colts Nation wrapped their arms around Gio and made sure that he felt okay with what's going on. I know a lot of Colts Brawl, I think Destin has personally reached out to him since everything's happened. I know we've kind of had his back, but it's just disgusting. And Colts Nation, that's why I love you guys. Y'all showed it. why we're able to do the things that we're able to do. Rashad, you are welcome to jump on your soapbox too, because I'm sure you got something you want to say about it.
Pathetic, disgusting, filthy. I am appalled that we had to sit on Twitter and witness these keyboard computer thugs, or whatever you want to call them, cyber bullies. It just was sickening to watch what they did to that young kid, telling him that he can't be a fan of two teams. He can't wear a Carson Wentz jersey, represent his favorite player. He's a kid. Can you please let a kid be a kid? The guy can support whoever he wants to support.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people take this thing way too serious, and nobody's more passionate than me about when it comes to football. But there's some guys that are just, some other words that I would say had we not been, on our show, we're not going to stoop down to their level and get them justification in what they did. They suck. Those guys,
that's so perfect. That's so perfect. I mean,
I'm glad they got called out on, and they got caught, and they were dealt with properly.
Shout out to Colts Nation, and then we talk about it all the time. Colts Brawl Elite Chat. Y'all want in? Find him at King of Colts. I'm pointing up to, there it is, pointing up to him, pointing up to me. Find us. Find that one over. I'm learning, you guys. Find that one over there, and you can ask us about Colts Brawl Elite Chat. Shout out to them too, because they not only found probably I'd say about a half a dozen. I joked and said, I mean, they're out there sniping, man. Those guys are suspended for hate speech, for bullying. I mean, my wife, you guys hear me talk about it all the time. My wife doesn't follow it, but she knows who Gio is, and she was disgusted with what happened. And I mean, she contemplated creating a Twitter page just to deal with these people. So that's the soapbox on that one, you guys. Okay. One other thing before we jump into social media questions is I feel the need to touch very quickly on Carson Wentz when it comes to the presser and the Pat McAfee interview. So those who do follow me and follow Rashad, because if I tweet something, he retweets. If he tweets, I retweet. We're all right there. Dude, I loved it. I loved I loved him more after the presser. And then I loved him even more after McAfee, because we all know as Colts Nation, McAfee openly lobbied to not have him come. And Carson went and sat on his couch, or in his gaming chair, as McAfee likes to call it, and sat there for 45 minutes. And they talked. And I loved every minute. I am so excited about having him as the quarterback of the Colts. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on it. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I just want to hear what did you think coming out of those two things?
For one, what I loved about it was he instantly called Pat McAfee out on it. He let him know, I heard it. I heard what you said.
He did.
And, it's okay. It's okay for you to say what you say and feel how you feel, but I'm going to change your mind. And another thing, that interview showed me that if he was so weak mentally as people proclaim him to be, then why would he jump in the fire like that? He had no reason to have to go on Pat McAfee. He wasn't obligated to do that.
Well, McAfee literally told him he thought he was broken mentally to his face. Now, McAfee also said, "You are much bigger than what I thought." So I'm with you. He didn't have McAfee. McAfee is the voice of Colts Nation. He is the loudest, proudest fan when it comes to Colts Nation. Mm-hmm. And you kind of do have to go on there. Mm-hmm. But he didn't have to. And he damn sure didn't have to do it a day after he was introduced as the Colts' new QB1. So I loved him for it. I loved it. If y'all have not listened to it, go. It's, McAfee don't need me to pump him, but go on YouTube and you can watch the entire interview. It's freaking awesome. It's going to stick out. I'm going to have to create a Twitter handle where it's dogs, guns, play quarterback. That literally, I mean, you can't beat that. It's new age Brett Favre, man. Just slap him some Wranglers.
Right.
But okay, so let's get to, we deemed it the new one, the social media sessions. You come over on the Forged in Blue couch, this nice blue couch, and we are going. Yes, Rashad's got all the blue, and we're going to answer some questions. So The queue's starting to run a little low, you guys. We need some more questions, but we've got plenty to answer today. So I'm going to jump us off. Man, so Kitchen never disappoints. We joke about it. He sends like 7 at a time.
My man,
So we're
Kitchen.
still working our way through his.
Let's go, Kitchen.
But he asked what I felt. I just wanted to go with this one because it's just such an odd question. It's not Colts related. It's not New Orleans related. It's not Tennessee related. It's not Hoosier. It's none of it. It is, if you could choose one superpower, what would it be? And I picked this one because I'm not going to lie. I spent my night the other night watching 4 hours worth of Justice League Snyder Cut, and it's on my mind. I don't know why. So I want to hear what yours is first, man.
I was watching that actually right before we came on. I have 42 minutes left. I'm proud of myself.
Bless you, man. It's a long one.
I'm almost done, man.
It's great though, isn't it? No spoilers. No, we won't give any spoilers.
I was just about to say something too. Okay, I'm not gonna say it. So, I actually saw this question, so I thought about it. I thought about being invisible. That's something common. But then, you know what? I didn't know that if I go invisible, if things I touch will still be able to be seen, or would that become invisible too? So since that was too much for me to think about, I decided to just have teleportation. You know, just to be able to teleport.
That's a good one. You put so much thought into this, man.
I really did. And I'm actually ashamed that I actually put this much thought into it. But, you know, hey, it is what it is, man. Teleportation is the one for me. Although teleportation makes me feel like I'm going to be doing a bunch of things that I should not be doing with that kind of superpower.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I've always liked the idea of super speed. I don't know. It's not teleporting, but I can get anywhere as fast as I want. And if I can be half as cool, it's not a spoiler, but if I can be half as cool and half as funny as the Flash and Justice League, I'm good. He's the highlight of them. Both versions. He's freaking hilarious.
He is funny.
So, okay. So we had a little fun with that one. So let's move on to the next one. Let me scan through it. Okay, this is from Matthew Veer, V-I-R-E, at Matthew Veer 1993.
Elite
Shout
chat.
out to him.
Elite chat member.
Shout out, man. He is amazing. My question, which is really just wanting your opinion, is what team stands the most in our way of making it to the Super Bowl?
One
I
team,
know who I think.
One team, I could give you 500 million reasons. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, man. Right now, they're the bar to me, in my opinion. Back-to-back AFC champions, won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, lost this year to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But until anybody prove they can stop Patrick Mahomes in the AFC, I mean, let's look at it this way. He's been a quarterback for 3 years. He's been to the Super Bowl 2 of those years. One of those years, he went to the AFC Championship, and he lost to New England.
I'm with you. I mean, I'll play different just because that's who I go with. It's Kansas City. It's Kansas City all day, every day, twice on Sunday, 3 times on Saturday, whatever you want to do. It's Kansas City.
Okay, sell me on somebody else. Sell me on somebody else.
Man, I'm gonna go. Let's go. Let's go a little off the board. I'll go Tennessee. I go Tennessee because to get where you want to go as a team, and Carson said it in the interview with Pat McAfee too, is you got to win the division. And they are, whether we like it or not, they are the defending division champ. They are still the best team on paper, probably in the division. Mm-hmm. And to quote Ric Flair, to be the man, you have to beat the man.
Woo!
So you have to beat them. Now I can tell you from firsthand experience, the Titans fans are nervous. Yeah. They are nervous. They are not super thrilled with the way the offseason has progressed. I mean, you have two camps. I'll tell you, you got two camps of Titans fans. You got the ones who realize they have created a shit ton of holes on their team to get Bud Dupree, to get a couple other players. They don't have, I was going through it with a Titans fan today. They don't have a wide receiver too. They don't have a tight end. I think he pulled up the roster and their wide receiver too.
They signed the wide receiver too today.
Who was it?
You guy from the Rams. What is his name?
Oh, come on, man. Now that's you should know that. Your brother's gonna kick your ass.
He is gonna kick my ass. And I'm mad that I can't think of it. Josh Reynolds.
Okay. Well, there you go. He's 2. Until that signing happened, if you looked at their depth chart on their website, their wide receiver 2 was a tight end. So they've lost a lot. So there's that camp. And then there is the camp where you listen and now you hear, and I think I told you and I told Michael, I'm listening to the radio and it's like, man, we got Bud Dupree. We're dripping in swag now. We're okay, whatever. Okay, come on. Let's pump the brakes. But like I said, to steal the quote from Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man. If I'm not going Kansas City, you got to win the division. Jacksonville's not anything to sniff at right now. I don't know how that's going to turn out. Houston is what Houston is. I know Rashad's the same as me, probably. I have chosen to stay very silent. Y'all aren't going to hear me or see me tweet anything or talk about that at all, because that is if the only thing I'll say is, if true, it is horrendous and a horrible thing. And so that's all I'm going to say on it. I don't know what's going to happen with that, whether he's on the team because they don't trade him or he's not on the team because he's not playing. Houston's a dumpster fire anyway. They've got like 4 running backs and none of them can carry the rock anymore.
Right.
So
next question.
Yeah. Let's move on. We're not. This is not political. This is not a social talk. This is Colts talk. This is Forged in Blue. You all love us. We love you. So let's move on. So let's go to the next one. The next one is from. We scan down through here because y'all have sent them. Oh, Kitchen, man, come on. Okay, DJ Green. Okay, so we're gonna kind of piggy this a little. Oh no, I like this one. Who is your favorite offensive and defensive scheme fit out of the players in the NFL draft? That's from DJ Green on Bleacher Report. Shout out to you, DJ. You send a ton of questions. We love you for it. So favorite offensive and defensive scheme fits. I know who I have. You go first.
You want me to do both? I get both?
Yeah, do both, man. You take both and I'll take both. We got plenty of time, man. I'm watching the clock. We got probably about another 10 minutes that we're going to go.
Oh, this is easy for me. Kyle Pitts, offensively, tight end.
Do you see he ran a 4.4?
Oh my God. Oh my
4.46 at a tight end, y'all. 4.46.
6'6".
Do you believe it though? Let me ask you, do you believe it? Because we have a fun time talking about these videos. I believe that one.
I believe that one too. I know they say he didn't look. I know I've seen people say he didn't look like he was running too fast. They forget he is 6'6". He's
That's
taking
what fast people look like too. They don't look like they're going fast.
Yeah. Only people that looks fast when they're actually running is shorter people. Like Tyreek Hill looks like he's running 1,000
because his
miles.
legs. He's like Mighty Mouse. Usain Bolt looks like he's walking.
Yes,
and he's the fastest man on the planet still.
Oh my God.
Oh yes. I love that one. That's a good one.
As a move tight end in that system, man. Can't just imagine that Trey Burton role last year, or the Eric Ebron role the last 2 years before that. Just insert 6'6" Kyle Pitts.
Oh,
okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm gonna make Steven mad, but I'm gonna go with JC Horn, man.
That's not making me mad. I love that. Y'all know I love JC.
I thought you were gonna say that one. That's why I said it's
gonna I'll pivot. I'll be okay.
JC Horn, tall boundary corner, speed, very physical at the line of scrimmage. Can play the man or play the zone. It's a no-brainer. Just JC Horn, man. If you don't know it, please Google him. He's fantastic. And I'm going to cry when he gets snatched off the board at like 15 or 16.
As long as it's not the Patriots that take him, I'm good.
Patriots
I'll be upset. So, okay. So offensive. DJ. Come close, man. I love me some Rashad Bateman. I'll go that. I'm going to tell y'all something. Forged in Blue did a poll on if JC Horn, this is how much, this is so, you saw it, didn't you? So the final results, if JC Horn and Rashad Bateman are sitting there both at 21, who do you want? Y'all, it was like close to 300 votes, somewhere around there. It literally was 50-50. We are undecided as Colts Nation, you guys, on who we would take. Can I just say I would love to have that problem. I really will. Part of me, though, I'm going to tell you this, and I'll do my defensive one. Part of me doesn't want either one there, because if they're there and then Ballard trades back, it's going to break my heart. If they're not there, then I'm okay. Because I'm not a huge fan of Rousseau or anything like that. I do, a sleeper one. This will be my defensive one. A sleeper defensive player that I do like is Asante Samuel Jr. out of Florida State. I like him. He's going to run fast. He is a fast guy, and he comes from that tree, man. His dad was a player. We know how Pittman is coming off of that tree with his dad being a player. He's going to come in as an adult who knows how to handle the league, I think. So I do like him. And it's a position of need, not as much, because I don't know about you, Tim. This is the pivot off of this. I don't know about you. I'm super interested to know what happens with Marvell Tech. I'm really, really interested to see how that works with Rhodes here one more year and his kind of propensity to teach. And we know from reports that Rock was basically his conjoined twin this year and just lived on his side. I'll be interested to see what happens with Marvell and how that works. But if I'm going to go kind of a sleeper one, because JC Horn's my pick too. I mean, JC Horn, say it again, JC Horn. But with you taking him off the board for me, I mean, I like Asante Samuel Jr. I like that. And you were pointing at me when I said it, so I want to hear what you got to say.
I'm higher on Asante Samuel than most people. I got him at my CB4. I have Caleb Farley, Patrick Surtain, JC Horn, and then I have Asante Samuel. Most people have Newsome. And Newsome's talented, and he will make a great corner. But Asante,
so you have, did I hear you right? You have Farley above Surtain.
Slightly.
Ooh. So
Slightly.
Okay. So this is just social media sessions. I'm gonna tell you guys too. I haven't confirmed the date, but we know now too, as of the recording of this, Ballard was at the Alabama Pro Day. So we will be having Bama Brawl on to discuss the handful of players that we do know. I don't know when. We're going to do it a little closer to the draft. I talked to him again today. And we're good. So y'all know there's no Twitter beef, man. He's doughy. Blake's cool with that. That's his guy. We're all good. You're pointing at me.
Adam messaged me about that.
I was sitting there when he did it, man. He goes, I'm going to message Rashad. Because I called him doughy. It is what it is. We have differences, but there's a ton of talent on that team that are also positions of need for the Colts. And the Colts were there for a reason. I know there was a picture that went out. I won't say who, but there was a picture that went out of Colts at the Pro Day, and they put Devontae Smith. Like, come on. Rashad, if you guys are watching the video, he is losing his ever-loving shit right now. But come on. Devontae, you got to put that like Ballard. Ballard's secretly looking at Devontae Smith. He's thinking about trading up. It's going to happen. Seriously, dude. Yeah, I know he's not wide receiver one, but what? Two.
I'm two.
He's two. He's two behind Chase.
Yeah, exactly.
Chase is one. He's two. Three you can debate. You could put Waddle there.
Most people Waddle, Bateman.
I love Bateman though, man. He's a Georgia boy too. Say what you want about being up in Minnesota. He was going to Georgia. He's a Georgia boy. But okay, so we can so go down the rabbit hole. Just so y'all know too, we are trying to convince Colts Brawl and Bring the Juice to do one massive mock draft with all of us in it. So if y'all listen to their one, imagine the craziness that will transpire with all 7 of us.
Yes.
So
for the record. I'm here for the mayhem.
It is. So if y'all don't follow him at King of Colts, you need to go do it, because when Massacre Week started with all the cuts and the pictures of like, I'm here for the mayhem. Like I woke up laughing so hard every time I saw it, because it is crazy. And I'm telling you, dude, I wouldn't be shocked if more's coming still, dude, there's still, and just so we get through with this, we touched on free agency a little bit, but there's still a lot of talent. There's not talent at the positions we want. And I think as Colts fans, we can be upset because he didn't spend the money in positions that you wanted. But dude, man, he's got a pretty good hit rate when it comes to what he does. The dude gets paid well to do what he does.
He does. And if you remember last year, man, we didn't sign Trey Burton until a week before the draft.
And I think, what did they say? Xavier Rhodes was 2 weeks in, wasn't he? when he
Yeah.
10 days, 2 weeks in, somewhere around there. They were naming them off. Eric Ebron, I think it was Kevin Bowen. Eric Ebron was like 2 weeks in. And, you know, I know, say what you want about him, and I'm not rocking it, but I have an Ebron shirt. A huge fan when he was here. And I'll give him one huge shout out too. He was engaged with fans. I talked to him on Twitter before Forged in Blue was ever a thing, and he would engage with me. So
he's a great
that
guy.
was a great signing. You know, he you know, stone hands a little bit, whatever. Okay, so let's do a couple more. Okay, we actually got one more. Let's do BRJDR.
Okay.
So another Bleacher Report. You say, okay, I know you know him. What are the benefits and chances of re-signing T.Y. Hilton? Obviously, we know who T.Y. is. I don't know why I emphasized the Hilton. Over a high-end free agent. Now, he sent this in. Shout out to him. He did send this in before Galladay's off the board, Allen Robinson's off the board, Curtis Samuel. But let's play reverse. You know, you watched Justice League. I did. Let's reverse a little. We won't give anything away, but let's go back in time. And what are the benefits? What do you feel? And we can even kind of parlay it a little bit into what are the overall benefits of bringing him in as opposed to bringing in one of those other talents?
You got to start off with locker room leadership, you know, having that veteran presence in the locker room, a guy who's been with your organization 9 years. He was drafted in 2012, I believe, and he's going on 9 years with the same organization. Like the stat you brought up that you talked about, he's 600 yards away from cracking a milestone that's never been cracked before in your franchise's history. The guy is one of the most important. He can arguably be the greatest draft pick of the Grigson era. He has that literal debate. At first, it was Andrew Luck, you know, with the trajectory he was on, but due to his, you know, his unfortunate retirement, T.Y. Hilton maybe has had the best career out of all of those guys that Grigson has ever drafted, but Anthony Costanzo being included in that. He's just a one-of-a-kind kind of guy, man. One-of-a-kind talent, guy that's led the NFL in receiving yards, a guy that brings wisdom, seen every situation, been to the playoffs, been to the AFC Championship. He's done it all but win a Super Bowl. And, you know, that's something that you can't put a value on when you bring in that kind of experience to the locker room, especially when it comes to teaching the younger guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. I think you hit it on its head. It's his experience, it's his maturity, and it's his locker room leadership. You can't, you know, you can only bring in, you know, I always think back to like the dream team with the Eagles or the Giants from a few years ago when they brought in a bunch of free agents, Janoris Jenkins, Brandon Marshall. And at the time it was like, oh, this is going to be a great thing. You can only bring in, quote unquote, so many hired guns who have no stake, no skin in the game with the team. And man, he has blood, sweat, and tears on Lucas Oil Field. I love him, man. I really hope he comes back. I think the longer it goes, the more we all feel like it's going to happen, that he is coming back. You have to love too. Like let's talk for a second too about the hashtag bring TY home. He's engaged with it, you guys. Like he has engaged with the fans on the hashtag bring TY home. Like people are asking like, where are you at? And he's like, I'm right here. You know, and for those of you who follow us, anytime that pops up, like you're like, oh, ghost sighting, you know, we know when it's happening. He's engaged. He is such a part. And I think you hit it so well, and you said it so well. I think he is, you know, it's there's him, there's Costanzo, and you know, there's Ryan Kelly. But man, I think I put TY is outside of Luck. TY is he's Ring of Honor, man. He is the next guy. I think that I've told the story on here before that I love during one of the games. He was not this past year. You know, he took a while to come on, and he went to Rivers on the sideline, and I think it was the Texans game because he knew, like he feels it. He feels it when he's in it. You know, I don't know if it's still called NRG, but we'll say NRG. He feels that he's ready to go, and he went to Phillip Rivers and he said, if you need yards, come find me. I'm always open. and you love that, man. And the security blanket of having him for Carson Wentz, and shout out to Gio thinks TY, if you listen to this, Gio thinks you should stay too. So that's it. Gio has spoken. TY needs, yes, come on, man. So, I mean, the benefit is he's T.Y. Hilton.
Right.
And his impact is more than yards. The fact that he is okay to not get the ball. Like, he's okay with the fact he didn't have a ton of touches. He's okay with that. I love it. I really, really, really hope that they bring him back. I don't know what the market is for him. Like you said, I think the Golladay signing raised it, but I don't know where it was at to begin with. So, I mean, he's not getting Golladay money.
No, we're close.
So, I mean, great question, man. We love TY around here. If you don't love TY, man, what are you doing? We've gone back and forth with fans, So social media sessions, you guys, we need more questions. We'll put it out there. Go to the Forged in Blue page. So here's the deal. This is the deal. You want to follow me right here. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to follow Rashad. He's up here. Boom. There he is. Hit them both. Then you can now follow. Where is it? Bam. We have our own page at Forged in Blue. Go follow that. Shout out to you guys. We opened that page up in 2 days. It had 200 follows. It was freaking insane how quickly y'all jumped on that. That's got a pinned message for social media sessions. Send them in whenever. Well, one of us will catch it and put it in the queue. So you need to follow those two things. You need to jump on there. You need to get social media questions in. I know it's been slow. It's been tough. It's been tough because there's just not a lot going on. But Get them in. Rashad, what are we, man?
We are. You want me to say the whole slogan?
Oh, I was going to say, I was shooting for the pod for the people, man. I'm curious what you're going to say.
I was going to close the whole show out.
Oh, well, no, I got to get, before we do that, I always got to give a call. Y'all know that beautiful purple button, okay? Hit the subscribe, then smash the 3 dots, send it out to whoever you want. Shout out to Vinny, to everybody, okay? Yes, it's right here, right there. For those, and we're on YouTube now, so that's what these little motions are you guys are hearing. Go on YouTube. You can subscribe on there. You can see our beautiful faces, and you can see the amazing Laura Steele today who jumped on. You can see her dog. She is still texting me. I love Laura now. So I will not be giving out her number. Don't ask. Rashad, maybe you. But so it's one of those things where make sure you guys do it. We talk about it all the time. This is how we get people like Laura. We get Laura. I've talked to Kevin Bowen again. He just went on Colts Brawl, so we're going to give it just a little bit until he jumps on. Matt Taylor. We've got the bomb that I'm still working on. Rashad knows what it is. So we're waiting on that one. But it's how we do it. Y'all wrap your arms around this. Y'all dig in. We love the shout outs too. You guys give the shout outs on Twitter to me or to Rashad. Vinny does it all the time. We've got there. Can you think of some other ones? I'm trying to think of. I want to make sure I shout out any of our, I'm going to call them forgers and brawlers, man, who jump on here and they love on us. Yeah,
that's all of you guys, man. I don't want to name people because I'm going to forget people and I'm going to feel terrible.
It's one of those things, man. We love you guys. And we love that you do it.
All the ladies in the elite chat, Allie, Gina, JJ, all of you guys, Deborah,
Mama Boy.
Yes.
She's one in there. Heidi, shout out to Heidi, beautiful voice. Go follow her on Twitter. She's singing to TY nowadays.
And TY definitely responded to it and told her it was amazing.
Yeah, go sighting.
Yep, go sighting.
It's we love you guys. We love the interaction. We love being able to do this. It's something we look forward to. Obviously, when things start to pick up, we have more. But we love, and that's why we're on YouTube now. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can find us anywhere that you interact. That's where we're at. We're everywhere when you want to listen to the pods too. we're on Apple, we're on Spotify. We have a huge following on Spotify, which kind of surprised me. I don't know why. You know, like I said, YouTube, Audible, iHeartRadio. You know, I told you we've got people in India who listen now. I've got people in Finland. That's a new one. I didn't tell you about Finland.
I didn't know about Finland.
Shout out to the Finland people, man. They listen to us too. I don't know how many. It's probably like 1 or 2, but I'll take it. You know, down in Chihuahua, Mexico, we got them down there. They're hanging out with Trent Richardson.
Wow. My brother's in Tulum too, by the way.
Is he really?
Yes. I texted him this morning to ask him about they signed Deshaun Jackson. So I call him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did I miss that? Oh, shit. That's not bad.
I called him to talk about it. And I hear a whole bunch of noise around. I'm like, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm in Tulum. I'm like, Tulum? Yeah. It's one of those.
God bless it, man. So
I'm jealous.
We love you guys, you know, and with it being slow. Oh, and really quickly too, I want to make sure, because I missed this last time. It is March Madness, you guys. Okay. DraftKings. Go to DraftKings. Yep. You know the codes, you know where it's legal. Put the bet down, get the deposit, make the money, get on there, do what you need to do. Don't listen to me. I'm sour grapes because my Hoosiers are not in it. This is a Colts chat. This is a Colts podcast, and I could not help myself, and I had to ask Laura about my Hoosiers. So do not take it from me. Go make some money with DraftKings. They're an amazing sponsor. Go do it now when the podcast is over. Hit it before the Sweet 16 goes in.
I'm a Kansas fan, and they got mud stumped by USC yesterday. So
at least you were in it, man. At least you were in it. So, okay. So we got some cool things coming up, you guys. Free agency is going to pop off a little bit more, hopefully soon. We got the draft coming up. We're going to start, obviously, you know, you hear Rashad talking about, you know, CB6, wide receiver 2. We're going to go into that. We're getting ready. I think we're going to start jumping into that very soon on giving you guys some draft rankings on some of these players. I think we'll probably target more positions of need as opposed to y'all don't really care who we have as QB1 or QB3.
Yeah.
Y'all know my QB7 is Mac Jones.
I'm not ranking any guards. I'm letting y'all know that now. I'm sorry. I'm not.
No. You want guards, go to Destin. Go to Destin or Derek, man. They know that stuff inside out. You want guards, go to them. You're going to get corners, wide receivers, tight ends. You'll get that fun stuff with us. So keep on the lookout. And you guys know that no matter what happens, no matter if Ballard continues to sign absolutely no one or he signs your favorite player, y'all know what we do. It is win, lose, or draw. We are all forged in blue. I love you. Rashad loves you. We're out.
Peace.